Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two blended Scotch whiskeys. This is the Dimple Pinch, introduced in 1893, age 15 years, no website listing. So it's a Diageo brand, but they don't have it listed on their website. It's in this triangle-shaped bottle. Keep it from rolling off the table on a ship. This was learned in the British Navy and Merchant Marine. It has a wire mesh around it. You can hold it from that if you need to grab it. Okay, so introduced in 1893, sold as the Dimple around the world, but in the USA, for whatever reason, it's the Dimple Pinch. And they show a crown with a thistle representing the Kingdom of Scotland. And you can't really see it because it's gold on clear. That runs $36 a bottle. I got mine for $25. True story, $11 cheaper at Walmart. Don't know why they had it marked down so much. It wasn't on a clearance tag, so it wasn't even a sales tag. BC's Beer Reviews, BC's Beer Reviews. Regardless of if it's a bottle or a can, I hope he shows up with Mickey's tomorrow night. Bottle or can Mickey's. All right, we're examining Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor tomorrow night. Dewar's 15-year age 15 years. I don't know when it was introduced, but sometime in the last few years. They don't say on the website, but they just have a listing for it. The nickname for this is the Monarch. The Monarch. It's double aged. They age each whiskey separately, and then they blend them together and then age them again. Okay. Produced under a royal warrant as one of the whiskeys of the royal family of England, Scotland, Wales, Australia, the Cook Islands, Gibraltar, Ascension Island, and so forth. All right. Now I got a good deal on this. I got it for these are little mini bottles, and it takes 15 of these to make one of these. Okay. 15 times this makes this. But I got it for cheaper per bottle than the normal price. So if I bought 15, I couldn't get 15. I bought as many as they had at the store. I would have bought all 15, but it would be $1.50 cheaper than what Total Wine has it for. And they always have the lowest price, about $40. So $39, I think. But anyway, so I got a good deal on it. So the price difference between these two is like about $3. So probably not gonna be able to tell them apart anyway. They both well made, quality. Gonna taste like honey and sugar water and that kind of thing. You're not gonna get any peat smoke, that kind of stuff. So what do they say about it on the Dewar's website? Wonderful website too, by the way, very informative. Dewar's age 15 years. The company Dewar's was established in 1846. They're now owned by Bacardi Ltd. Shown in a rocks glass, not a Glencairn glass. So created to be a sweeter, lighter blended Scotch whiskey. This was the first whiskey created by Stephanie McLeod. And I think she took over back in 1998 as the blend master. I don't know who the blend master is now. Thanks to both our unique double aging process and golden water source, Dewar's 15-year-old is unusually smooth with flavor notes of honey, toffee, and floral. Honey, toffee, and floral. So it's going to be just like the Dimple Pinch. And you can make an elderflower highball if you want. And there's a recipe. So we know it's not older than 1998. So it's at the oldest 24 years old. Not really old in the world of whiskey, like that's like new, you know. Jeep and Foodie, good morning, Ron, checking in. Good morning to you. And thanks for watching. Now, so, I mean, anything from the last 25 years is new, really. Okay. I try to make the pours minimal, but some of these things pour out so rapidly. So there's the famous Dimple Pinch, or the Dimple in Europe and Africa. Golden. So like I said, I didn't get 15 bottles. I've already drank one, so I would have 14 left, including this one. But I will buy them if they become available again, and I doubt they will. I've never seen it anywhere else. Now, eventually, down the road in a few years, if I have to buy a full-size bottle, yeah, I wouldn't take issue with that. That wouldn't bother me at all. But I would rather get, however many more. I need 6 more or whatever to make 15. Then I could say I went through a whole bottle, meaning a 750 milliliter amount. It's got the 3 Ds, interlocking Ds for Dewars. Dewar Senior, John Jr., and Danny or whatever his name is. Daniel. All right. 3 Dewars. Glass bottle, not plastic. All right. Okay. All righty. Daylight is arriving here. Need rain. Louisiana's in a drought, not like California, but we're in a drought. And hopefully this Thursday and Friday it'll rain after I cut the grass. Plan to cut it Thursday. Mow the lawn, as they say. New mower's working well. The old one did its job, but it couldn't make it. Hey, 19 years I got out of it. 19 years. Where has Orangey been? She's over there on the back porch. I don't want her in here, but I went out to get the newspaper this morning. She was waiting by the front steps. I said, look at you. Because she knew I was going to go get the paper. So when the car dropped the paper off and left, then she knows I'm going to go out to get it. So she was waiting. And then she wanted food. So her food bowl was empty, no water. So I gave her water and food. So she likes to come inside, but she'd really rather be outside. Okay, so there's really no use letting her come inside. She'll come in and wander around a little bit, but then want to go back out. So I just leave her out. It's more convenient. That's where she grew up, on the streets, as a wildcat. Scruffy's a janitor. Says I mow the lawn with a 1953 farm mall. Okay. All right. It smells like pungent. Now this one smells pungent, kind of like fermented grain, almost like sourdough bourbon. Sour mash bourbon, not sourdough. Sourdough bread, sour mash bourbon. You say you're crazy. Bourbon is corn based. What do you think blended whiskey is? It's probably 80% grain whiskey. What's the grain? It doesn't have to be corn. It's just column still grain alcohol. They make it at a big distillery in Scotland. They make it all day long, pure grain alcohol. Corn is subsidized. I don't agree with that. I don't think the government should subsidize any grain products because that puts them in cahoots with the farmers and all. It's a crooked conflict of interest operation, but that's how they operate, But they can make grain whiskey from anything: corn, wheat, rice, grain. Get it? And then they blend it with about 20%. Doesn't have to be 20. I think that's the minimum in the USA. Could be different in Scotland. 20% single malt whiskey, barley malt, malted barley whiskey. Okay, that's from copper pot stills usually. Okay, but the youngest whiskey in the blend, whether it's grain or single malt, the youngest whiskey in the blend is at least 15 years old. Could they have older whiskeys? Yeah, they probably do, but the youngest is 15. Is there a big difference between American blended whiskey and blended Scotch whiskey? There's not a big difference in the principle of it. There's a big difference in the ingredients because the U.S., even though they're both corn based, don't have to be. Remember what I said. But in the United States, they can use unaged grain alcohol before it becomes whiskey. It's aging in the barrel that makes it become whiskey. But they can use raw. Don't have to use raw, but they're allowed to, so it's cheaper. So that's what they do. And then they blend it with whiskey that has to be at least no certain age, but it has to be straight whiskey, which that's 2 years old. So yeah, it does have to be a certain age. I forgot. Straight. You say, well, that's not a lot of age in 2 years. I know, it's minimal. The whole thing is minimum. That's why you can get it for $5.99 a bottle. But the similarity is that grain flavor, unaged versus age. Okay, it does make a difference. The Scotch is used barrels though, so that kind of like undermines the difference because you age in the whiskey and use bourbon barrels that might be, or could be wine barrels, doesn't matter. You don't get the char effect because the char is worn off 20 years ago. Could they use charred oak? Yeah, they could use it if they wanted to. Okay, so the rules are strict, but there's a lot of flexibility within those strict rules. You see, a lot of ability to use creativity within those rules. This one is similar to what I just described, but not quite as pungent. All right, so do I know which is which at this point? No, I may not know which is which at any point because I've been getting it wrong a lot. Is that a fault of mine? It could be, but I think the real answer is that the Dimple Pinch just does not differentiate itself from the other $35, $45 blended Scotch whiskeys. Actually, it doesn't differentiate itself from the other $10, $15, $25, $35, $45 whiskeys. They just all kind of run together, which could be a strong argument for why are you spending the extra money? I can't argue with that. If you say, well, they all taste like honey top white bread crust, and one is 35 and I can get another one for 12 and it's going to be essentially the same, I'll just get the one for $12. You wouldn't get any argument from me. Now it might say age 3 years instead of 15. Does that make a difference? Well, yeah, I guess that's what they tell me. That's what I hear on TV. I mean, on the internet. I don't hear it on TV. You get more wood flavor, I guess, if that's something you're looking for. I guess that's nice. Very nice. This tastes so standardized right now. What I just tasted was honey top white bread crust, sugar water, and grain alcohol, of course. They're 40% pure alcohol, so in that. But it's fine. Yeah, same thing. Now, I am getting more wood over here. And would you like to know something about the wood? Yesterday afternoon, when I did the taste challenge for an upcoming date, I was talking about the woodiness and everything, and then I said, "Oh yeah, it must be the Dewar's 12 year," but it was flipped. It was the Dimple Pinch that had the wood. So now I'm tasting that again. So that's my little cheat sheet. You see, I say in my mental cheat sheet, I say, "Oh, keep your mind on that woody note, and then that's your Dimple Pinch." You say that's not a cheat sheet, that's a clue. Well, yeah, I guess you could say that. Am I tasting a price difference here? No way. No way. No way. So if I could get the Dimple Pinch for $36 or the Dewar's 15, age 15 years for the $39. I'm gonna save the $3 and get the Dimple Pinch. Simple as that. Tell you the truth, I'll get the Dewar's white label for $18.99 and then save a bunch of money. You basically get almost two bottles for the price of one. And what have you lost? You hadn't lost anything. Now you say, well, it's not age 15 years. I know, but I'm not noticing much difference. No benefit is what I'm trying to say. B Aviation says, I feel like they could just make a whiskey product that tastes like it's been a whiskey, quote unquote, product that tastes like it's been aged however many years by adding flavor to an unaged whiskey. And most people wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Probably not. I don't know, but they're not allowed to do that, but well, they could probably do it and call it whiskey product, like they do with these flavored wines, like a wine product, wine-based product, like with Stella. And I see people going in stores all the time I'm gonna get me some wine. I'm getting Stella. And I'm thinking, well, that's not an actual wine. It's made with wine, but it's not a wine, a true wine. But if you told them that, they would just look at you like you were dumb, like, I know my wine. And I'll be like, no, you don't, because you think Capriccio. What is that one from Florida? Distillers. I think that's the name of it. It's the same thing as a wine-based product. You say, well, you mean like Boone's Farm? Yeah, it's the same thing. A little higher grade. You say, what about MD 2020? Blue raspberry. Yeah, it's the same thing. They add sugar, flavoring, raspberry, peach, pineapple, any kind of other juice, and it's going to taste like that. So I'm not criticizing that, saying you shouldn't drink it. I'm just saying it's not a true wine. So could you make a whiskey product like that? Yeah, they do it all the time. Look what they do with that unaged raw grain spirit. They make that old smoky, and they have coffee flavor, peanut butter flavor, peanut flavor, almond, everything, and they add different food coloring and stuff. And people buy that up like that's $19.99 a jar. It's in a mason jar. The stuff from Tennessee. I see people buying that all day long. I never bought it myself. So your concept is actually already being used, and but he's not saying to make it taste like old Camp Peach. He's talking about taking an unaged whiskey and making it taste like it's aged using the flavoring. And I'm agreeing with that concept. It wouldn't be legal and just try to pawn it off as regular whiskey, but you could pawn it off. You could definitely sell it as a whiskey product. Florida banana wine. There is a blended whiskey called Triple Crown from McCormick. It's pretty good, actually. It's a little better than normal. It better be. It costs more. But if you look carefully at the website, it says with oak extract. They have oak extract added. You say, well, they're trying to make it taste like it's aged longer in oak. Yeah, exactly. Why you think they would add it? But you're allowed to add flavor into blended whiskey up to a certain percentage. So that's all the way, if you want to call it cheating. I don't think too many people worry about Triple Crown. Doesn't even claim to be American blended whiskey. It's a North American blended whiskey, so it could have Canadian stuff in it. It's a crazy looking product. Nice bottle, nice label, but it's kind of like Virginia Black. That stuff got flavoring in it, even though it's made with bourbon. Okay, Familiar. Was Johnny Walker Blue Label the most you ever spent on a bottle of anything? Yes, it was. But I saw something that exceeded it. Mathern's got a bottle of something from Chivas Brothers. It's not Chivas. It's one of their brands, and it's the real fancy one, and it's $400. I think they have it for $439. I was like, I don't think so. They always bragging on it, you know. It's been around. Somebody gave me a bottle from 1949. It was a wedding gift, I imagine, but it all evaporated. There was nothing in it except some like residual stuff at the bottom. It looked like mud. And I was like, I'm not drinking that. It was like an ounce left, 2 ounces. Royal Salute. That's what it's called, Royal Salute. Now, in 1949, it might have cost $80, you know, which would be like $400 today or more. Money used to be worth more back then when it was backed up by gold and silver. Would I like to try Royal Salute? Who wouldn't? But I'm not paying $439 to find out how good it is. Well, I'm picking up more wood over here. I'm telling you right now. And I think that's the Dimple Pinch. So I would prefer the Dimple Pinch, which means it wins because it's $3 cheaper. So not only does the Dimple Pinch have a slightly nicer flavor, but it ain't much of a difference. But it is $3 cheaper. So I'll say go with the Dimple Pinch, assuming I'm correct, and I'm not too confident in that. I saw inflation is around 9%. That's crazy. Yeah, it's bad thanks to that operation on the Potomac in the District of Columbia. When you do bad things, you get bad results. I was saying this 2 years ago. There's going to be inflation. There's going to be inflation. And people didn't seem to understand. No, money's magic. The government is magic. They can give everybody $1,400 or $1,200 3, 4 times. I said, where do you think they're getting the money? From the air? I think they're just getting it from the air. I said, there's going to be inflation. Don't you understand that? But they didn't understand it. Now they're understanding it in a practical sense because they're paying a lot more. They're paying for their own stimulus check, basically. Okay. Haha, I got it right. Thankfully. Now, I think I have the possibility, I think I have the possibility of getting it right the rest of the time because I'm going to keep that cheat sheet in my mind of that wood. Think about the oak. So if I just keep in mind that it has a fairly predominant oak wood flavor, barrel, uncharred, just oak, then I think I can get it right. It's not cheating because I'm not, I'm just keeping that mental note. I call it a cheat sheet, But anyway, so the Dimple Pinch wins. It's a little bit better, I think. No knock against Dewar's. So the winner this morning, the Dimple Pinch, a famous whiskey around the world since 1893. I think it's only been sold in the United States since, much later, but anyway. No, you know what? I think they called it the Dimple Pinch since 1954. I think when they sold it in the U.S. before that, it was called Haig and Haig. Haig and Haig. I don't know the whole story. They don't know the whole story. Diageo probably lost the notes. Remember, like Schlitz beer? They didn't know what the recipe was from 1969. We know we made it a certain way, but they couldn't find the recipe. I was like, where'd they keep their recipes? In a shoebox? They probably actually literally did keep it in a shoebox. Yeah, we're paying extra for everything using the money we got from the stimulus checks. Right. So people are like, I made $3,000 from the government. I know, but it's going to cost you $3,000 more to live for the next 2 years. So you got $3,000 for 2 years in a 2-year period, and it's going to cost you $3,000 more to do what you used to do for 2 years. So you haven't gained anything. It's like the minimum wage. People are so blockheaded with that. But you could learn, like they'll say, this is what democracy looks like. These agitators. We want $15 minimum wage. Take the chains off of our slavery and all their ridiculousness, So they get a $15 an hour minimum wage. So That was a 10% increase. And then all the prices go up 10%. We helped the workers, brothers. Well, how'd you help the workers, brothers? They got a 10% increase in their wage and all the prices went up 10%. So how did you help them? Oh, I'm sorry. You meant to say you used them to promote your agenda. Oh, okay. So you got to interpret what they're saying. We use the workers, which is the whole ideology behind communism and socialism, not to help the workers. Only a fool would think that. It's to use the workers to advance your personal tyrannical advancement, and then you crush the workers once you get in power. But anyway, yeah, we're paying. Marquee matchup this morning says B Aviation. Yes, yes, yes. It was actually. Finally, you didn't get schooled by Dimple Pinch. I was winning with Dimple Pinch at first. Now, if you watch the first few videos, I got it right every time. But then look what I was going up against. A bunch of smoky whiskeys. All those Johnny Walkers taste like smoke. So, except for the gold label reserve. So I had a cheat sheet there. I had a cheating characteristic there, which was the smokiness. But once I started doing all of these and they all taste like honey, then I had a problem. See, I had a problem. But then I picked up on that woody thing. So now I just got to keep in mind the oak. So, well, we'll see what happens at the last few challenges. We got some more coming, though. Inflation has been weaponized and used as a tax. It is a tax. It's an indirect tax because the government just borrows money from the Federal Reserve. See, the Federal Reserve banks, they're the ones that win because they get their money back with interest. So they're like the vampires behind the scene, giving the loans to the government so that the government can give you the free money so that you can pay for the free money. I try to talk to these Canadian and British beer reviewers about that. They got mad at me. Most of them won't talk to me because they were like, oh, we get free healthcare, eh? And you don't. You have to pay for it, eh? And I'm like, no, you don't get free healthcare. You have to pay for it. You sit there on one hand and you complain about the exorbitant prices in Canada. It's like, oh, I wish we could get stuff cheap like you. We have to pay so much. I'm like, why do you think that is?